What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content. It's Chris Kane. You know what we're here to do. Let's talk Dolphins. If you watched yesterday's episode, I ended it by saying, hey, the news I'm reporting today is the most up to date, but I almost guarantee by the next episode, things are going to change. And when you know it, that is exactly what happened. We talked about Jonah not signing his deal yet, but the picks behind him in the second round had, and so there had been traction developing. And what happened is those guys on the back end of the second round were taking sub guaranteed deals, 85, 90% up front, but not the full 100%. Jonah, of course, was holding out for the full 100%. And I said, until someone from his position up does something different, nothing's changed. And wouldn't you know it, just 12 hours later, the Dolphins and Jonah have a deal, and the deal is fully guaranteed. So we asked the question, who has the leverage? Evidently, in this case, it was Jonah. But who benefits from it? We all do, because now he can be there with the team. He can start practicing. He can start mastering his craft, and he can start protecting our quarterback and making run lanes for the running backs. This is awesome. I thought he should have got a guaranteed deal just because that seems to be what the league is trying to do now. But also, we're talking about 1.7 million in 3 years, holding up this guy from really getting his shakes and getting his practices in. It didn't make any sense for you building the right team. Like you're gonna make this stand over 1.7 million, really? Like Steven Ross is a multi-billionaire. We had the money to spend. He's a second round pick. We gave up assets to get him. Now we're gonna get weird about a little bit of money that ideally we're just gonna pay you anyway. No one thinks we drafted him that after his third year we'll be like, nah, can't give you that fourth year contract. That was never the idea. The idea that, hey, he's gonna be a cornerstone. You, Brewer, Daniels for the next couple of years, hopefully Patrick Paul for the next few. Like, we're thinking at least four of y'all should be here for the next few years. We'll see what Austin Jackson's up to. But that's what we thought when we drafted him. And I guess the team finally said, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? Go get him. He got, and now we're good to go. The beautiful thing about this, no distraction going into mini camps, no distractions going into training camps, no distractions going into the season where it's like, oh, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Is he going to be disgruntled with the team? All that's done. Now we can just focus on football. That's it. And that's what we want. And everyone's talking about the Dolphins are tough. They got to like rebuild their identity. That's based around toughness. And we got him because he's kind of a nasty guard. Y'all know I like nasty guys in the trenches. I do. I don't mind, a little extra block. I don't mind the late pancake. I don't mind a little little forearm shiver. I don't mind a little nasty streak in my O and D lineman. I'm fine with it. I don't like it in my wide receivers. Never a fan of that. Cornerbacks, if you're physical, maybe. But my trenches guys, if you got a little edge to you, yeah, I'm here for it. You grab a little face mask, I want it. And Jonah's whole demeanor and personality in Arizona is that he's one of those guys. He's about smoke, and I like it. We just had to get him on the field, had to pay him a little bit of money that we are going to pay him anyway. And finally, we got it locked in. So super excited about this. We can stop reporting on this story. Now we can just start talking about how is he producing in practice because I want to see him and Kenneth Grant. Hey, iron versus iron, baby. First round, second round. That should be the whole game for the next couple weeks between those two. Hey, you the first round pick, I'm the second round pick. Who's more man? That's it. They should just be just scrambling, and honestly, they're gonna make each other better. That's the goal. We know Zach is Zach, but I don't know who Kenneth is yet. I don't know who Jonah is yet. I want to see when they go at each other. I want both of them to shine. I want them to feel like I'm taking on a challenge, and ideally, we'll have both of them for the foreseeable future, and they can grow together and sharpen each other to become great at both their positions. But very happy to get this locked in, and hopefully, we won't have any other contract issues going forward. Except there may be one. Little mini bit of foreshadowing. So, ESPN put a list out today about who are the best non MVP, who are the best non quarterback MVPs for each team. Because obviously, you can just say that the quarterback is the MVP for like 28 of the 32 teams, right? In this case, they said that Zach Sieler was the Dolphins' non MVP, non quarterback MVP, which, again, I don't think is inaccurate, but it just puts more and more pressure on the Dolphins to give Zach money. Just in the last couple of days, you had Fitzmagic coming out and being like, if he was a first round pick, he'll make 20 plus million a year, but you get drafted on your, draft stock, not your production. And then immediately after, you know who the best player on the team that's not Tua? Zach. And so it seems like that's it's a collision course. I haven't heard Zach publicly come out and say anything. I believe he's trying to do his stuff behind the scenes, which I like because it's not messy. And the team has shown they're kind of weird. We're in a weird pocket of money right now. We paid a lot of guys last year. This year, we're not really paying anybody. Zach's already under contract. So the team has an incentive basically to not pay him because we already gave you an extension. You earned a 3-year, $30 million extension. We gave you more money. It just so happens that you're better than the money we gave you. So I'm hoping that they may be having some backdoor channels. It didn't help that TJ Watt got a deal. It doesn't help that Micah Parsons is currently negotiating a deal that I'm guessing is going to be 41.5 or like 42 million, like 100,000 more than what TJ Watt got. But that's fine. I just hope him and the team are having real discussions. I haven't heard anything about him being traded. Again, he's under contract. But the more outside people keep saying, Zach's pretty good. That 92's all right for Miami. It's just not. It's not gonna be good for us. Let's just keep it a buck. Like you can keep people kind of a secret. Like we thought Van Ginkel could be a secret for a while, and it got out, and then immediately you saw what happened. So shout out to Zach for making another list of good. Hopefully the money follows at some point. I don't know. Now we're back to the top 25 list in the last 25 years. And number 19, I've already shouted him out episodes ago about former players who I was always a fan of that no hard feelings, they just didn't last for the team. And it just so happens that number 19 is Jarvis Landry on the list, which made me happy. If you didn't watch the Jarvis Landry days or you kind of forgot what it was, Jarvis was with us for 4 years and basically averaged 100 catches, 1,000 yards, and like 5 touchdowns. That's like I had to do the math. It legitimately comes out to not. He didn't get those exact numbers every year. Like 1 year he had like 84 catches, but 1 year he had 112 catches, and then like 108, and then like it just averages out to 100. 2,000 yard years, 2 not 1,000 yard years. 1 year with 9 touchdowns, then 5.444. Like it just averages out that basically 100 catches, 1,000 yards, 5 6 touchdowns a game. That's what he was. He was not the fastest receiver in the world, not at all. Toughest, one of them. Really good blocker, yeah. Made a number of just like really spectacular plays for somebody that you didn't think had that kind of spectacular in him. Is he one of the all-time great Dolphins? I don't know. I don't believe he is. This is 19. But was he a fan favorite? Yeah. Here's the thing that I really love. I had to check on this. He played every game. He didn't miss a single game. And we know how injuries kill the Dolphins. Jarvis, immune to injuries with the Dolphins. Played every single game. Warrior, Iron Man. He literally in 1 year led the league in receptions and didn't get 1,000 yards. I don't even know how you do that. How do you have 112 catches and don't even get 1,000 yards? It doesn't make sense. That's a bunch of 4 yard, 7 yards down. That's like no yak, just receptions, just pure possession receiver that year. Absurd stat, but he did it. The crowd loved him, fan favorite, and honestly, he played his contract out. There's nowhere else to go with that. And he went on to have a decent career outside of that. Cleveland, he had a couple good years, and then he did start getting injured, unfortunately. But I told y'all that Jarvis was one of my favorite players, and evidently, when the list was curated, they thought the same thing because here he is on the list. Honestly, I think 19 is too low. I think it's too low. I think Jarvis is borderline top 15. Just an excitement factor. He's a quintessential football player. 5'11", 210 maybe, if even that big, and just all guts and just guile and toughness. That's how he got it done. Wasn't the biggest guy in the world. I mean, again, remember him and Odell went to LSU together, and we saw the different career tracks. And now, ironically, they both ended up playing for Miami at one point. But Odell came in the league and was arguably the best receiver in the league. Definitely top 3. Like just immediately up here. Jarvis was never up there, but just really workmanlike, solid. Gotta love Jarvis, man. Gotta love Jarvis. Shout out to Jarvis Landry. Now we're gonna jump into a comment. I actually saw this on X when I was perusing today. It was an interesting point, and I kind of wanted to get into it. They said effectively, quarterbacks are who get coaches fired. Quarterbacks don't get coaches hired. That's not how that works. And the question was Coach McDaniel hired to coach the Miami Dolphins, or was he hired to coach Tua? Because we know the whole Flores, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not a debacle because we did go over 500, but it didn't end well. Let's just say that Flores and Tua, oil in the water, never got on the same page. When Coach McDaniel came in, the first thing he did was let me reach out to Tua. Now that makes sense. Your quarterback is your most important player. You should do that. But it very much was what coach can get the most out of that quarterback. And I think people think of it like you want to govern the whole team, right? When you're the coach, you are the CEO of the team. Your position coaches do their certain things, and the coach sets the tempo for what the whole team is. That's what coaching is. And I think when we brought in Coach McDaniel, it was very much our team is going to go as Tua goes. So let's get a coach to coach Tua. But Coach McDaniel had never coached like a large position group. He had been offensive assistant and he had been in committees and he had been on rosters as like an offensive mind. But he had never been like a full fledged OC. Like that wasn't his position going into it, right? So it's an interesting point. I never thought of it as being a legitimate difference because if you're here to get the most out of Tua, but you don't know how to manage other parts of the team or the parts of the game, maybe you don't have the vision for the fullness of it, right? When he came in day one, hey, offense is gonna be quick, fast. What does Tua do well? He throws really well on timing, really well across the middle. We're gonna rebuild the offense around that. Boom, 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 boom. But I don't think we had an identity initially on defense. It was like, hey, hire that DC. Y'all got it. I'm gonna be over here with the offense, and we're gonna just do this part over here. And over time, what you've seen is people have come out and say, "Hey, coach has to be a little bit more harsh. Coach has to be a little bit more um, authoritative. He has to be a little less loose because that's what being a head coach is. When you're a coordinator, you can just kind of lock in on your own thing. If you're DC, you can just be hard nosed and beat those guys to the ground. You don't really worry about what they're doing on offense, and then obviously offensive coordinators do the same thing. But when you're the coach of the whole team, part of it is casting vision. And I've asked this question on this show many times: what's the identity of the team? Because the identity of the team, from what I can tell, is a little flashy, smartest offense in the room, inventive play calling, um, fun to watch, exciting. That's what it is. But all of that basically is offense. We don't have a defensive identity right now. And when we had Vic Fangio, we never fully established his identity because, well, people got hurt. Like the eternal Miami curse. People got hurt. So we never got a Vic Fangio defensive philosophy. I think we're getting towards an Anthony vision for what the defense looks like. But even then, people got hurt last year as well. So we don't have a defined defensive mentality. And I think the offensive scheme is going to evolve this year, which is why I've been so just heavily beating. We got to run the ball at some point because I think running the ball helps every part of the game. And I think when Coach McDaniel came in, foolish or not foolish, I think he thought we don't really need to run the ball. And when we do run the ball, we can run it in new and inventive ways instead of, hey, let's establish like the main part of running, which is in between the tackle running. Okay, how fast your running backs are, you make your bread and butter in between the tackles. That's just what running is, unfortunately. Like it's way easier to get stretched out, pushed out of bounds. You make your living in the middle. And then you can bounce outside if you have the speed and blocking to do so. And we definitely didn't build our team to run on the inside. Our team is built on trap blocks and bouncing outside and guys pulling. Everything is like flashy and like wide, and that's fine when it works. And I think now the reason so happy we signed Jonah, we go out and get James, and we lock in the O line is because hey, at some point we got to get a little bit more. It's got to be a little bit more than a flash. It's like the sizzle and I don't know what the other part is. It's like something and sizzle, right? It can't be just be sizzle. It's got to be have the flavor and stuff too, right? So I think coaches like going into this year, this is the first time that I can honestly say I think he's been the team's coach. Like, and that's not even like a super indictment. I think we brought him in to do offense. That's what we brought him in to do. But I think this is the first time I've heard him talk as a holistic thing. I think up to this point, it's been like, hey, if we do the offense well and we score enough, defense is going to be fine. If we score enough touchdowns, it don't matter if Jason is on or off that year. Because we've had Jason has had great years like last year, 2 years ago, not good. But if you're scoring touchdowns, field goal kicker not that important. You score 30 points a game, you can give up 27 points a game. Defense can be kind of average, right? It's like that's the cure all. If I do offense right, the rest of it answers itself. Instead of, hey, the defense needs to complement the offense. They can't just be another unit on the field while our offense is catching air. We got to be really good on both, and it has to have some overarching philosophy behind it, which is why the Chip Kelly offense overall didn't work in NFL because he was so we're gonna go at warp speed, which works when the offense is moving the ball, but when they go three and out, you're putting your defense back on the field tired. And at a certain point, defenders are like, "Hey, coach, I know you want to go at warp speed, but we tired of being on the field when y'all don't score. Or worst case, y'all do score quick, but then we back on the field again. Now we're getting exhausted, giving up points, and there was no tandem to that, which is now why Chip Kelly is a assistant again because that head coaching model didn't work. So was Coach McDaniel bought in to be Tua's coach or the team's coach? I think objectively he was bought in to be Tua's coach with the idea that if Tua's good, then the team will be good. And now I think he's realized for me to keep my job, I have to be the team's coach, which is smart. And I think he's going to be great. I think the team's philosophy and like mentality going into the year, you're hearing it from all positions: D line, running backs, offensive line. They're all saying the same thing. Hey, we know the urgency. We hear the chatter. We know we're locked in. We're unified. We didn't hear this at any point in the last couple of years. They were talking about like, can Miami score 70 points again? That's what I was hearing. Like, can the Miami breakdancers play in the cold? It's been all that talk. This is the first time I've heard both sides of the ball. Hey, we're ready to get after it. People been talking all year. Keep that same energy. We about to bring the smoke. And I think that's a legitimate culture shift. I mean, we've been talking about it, but I think it legitimately is. And I think it's because coaches shifted from being Tua's coach to being everyone's coach, which is why he said, I don't know, like a month ago, hey, I want Tua to take the reins a little bit. I want him to take more control of the offense. Because up to this point, coach was like, I'm doing everything Tua execute what I'm telling you. At a certain point, it's like, Tua, what do you see? I need you to make adjustments on the fly. I need you to have a better mastery of this so I can take some of that plate off of me or take some of that food off of my plate. And now I can redirect my energy to the team instead of like not babysitting, but just being like locked in on you. I think it's a good point. I think it's a fair point. And I expect that this would be coach's best year as the head coach because I think we're going to be good on multiple facets of the game. So shout out to that commenter. I wish I knew who they were. I would give them a shout out here, but I don't remember. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. We'll see you guys next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.